Are you a man or a mouse?
Hi everyone, Tilda here. So today I have some interesting, exciting, and rather terrifying news for all of you. Tumblr.com is still a website. Yes, I know everyone thinks it died or something, but it's very much still here. And there is a lot of craziness that happens there that really could not happen anywhere else. I would love to get into it, but there are plenty of other people online that have talked about it more in depth. I'll just quickly paraphrase some of the drama that has happened on the website from my own shaky memory. Alright, here we go. Bone stealing, post editing, Destiel, Super Hulock, Onceler, Creepy Cults. I could go on, but I don't want to, and I can't anyway because I don't remember all of it. I could research more into it, but this video is about something more specific that happened recently. You see, today I'll be talking about Mousegirls. Now, what is a Mousegirl? A Mousegirl is a girl that is a mouse. Now, this could mean anything. We could be talking about Mrs. Brisby from The Secret of Nim, Bianca from The Rescuers, Gadget Hackwrench from Rescue Rangers. Fun fact, by the way, Gadget has an entire Russian cult based around her. Not related to what I said earlier about creepy Tumblr cults, but there you go. But we're getting off the subject here. So in regards to Mousegirls, it doesn't really matter what exactly we're talking about. Let's just picture a talking mouse who happens to be female. Now, what would happen if you were to walk into a bar, and the bartender was a Mousegirl? You'd probably think, "Aw, that's cute. There's a little mouse at the bar and she's serving drinks." And you would ask for a drink, and the Mousegirl would probably bounce the drink on her head and say, "For you, it's on the mouse." Aww. Now, this situation I just laid out for you is actually from a post by the user anarcho-scommunist on Tumblr. Now, I want you to picture a normal, human response to this post. Think of something a well-adjusted member of society would probably say in response to this post. Probably something like how I responded. Something like, "Aw, cute," or "This made me laugh," or "This made me lol, lamau xd," or something. Something along those lines. Maybe you don't even have a response. You just like the post, or reblog it since it's on Tumblr and Tumblr has a reblog function. And then you move on with your day. Now picture the exact opposite of everything I just told you. Picture the most deranged, unhinged response you can think of. Something someone who has never been outside or interacted with another human being face to face in, like, let's say, years. And I want you to quiver in fear as this unhinged response is much, much closer to the reality of one particular response to this post than everything I mentioned before. Granted, I'm sure there were plenty of normal responses. There is good in this world. But I just wanted to talk about this response from Tumblr user Megapope, who has since deactivated their account.
The crazy thing about this is that it took one single word to turn it horny. Could have been a normal cute post, could have taken the high road and conjured a delightful image of a mouse scampering down the bar with a beer 10 times its size balanced on its head. But you had to say Mousegirl and not mouse. Don't pretend this isn't what's going on either. I know the score, I know what's up. I'm familiar with this sort of semantic trick. You want to fuck down on an anime girl with certain characteristics of a rodent and everyone's gotta know.
There's a lot to unpack with this one. First of all, let me play devil's advocate for a moment. I agree that hearing the word girl kind of brings to mind human females. As someone who's attracted to women myself, which is why I'm drawing a Mousegirl in this video, I can understand picturing a Mousegirl and feeling butterflies in your stomach a little. Maybe you start having a vivid fantasy of going on a date with a beautiful Mousegirl, sitting under a tree with a Mousegirl and gently cuddling her as the sun filters through the leaves above and reflects off of her soft, neatly groomed fur. And then you start to get a little more intimate and, you know. Not that I'm particularly invested in this concept or anything, but I can understand imagining such a scenario. But look, if we're going to talk semantics, I would say that the most semantically significant aspect of the post is the punchline. It's on the mouse. Hilarious. And I think that the simplicity of this joke is enough to distract from any indecent thoughts. You understand the point of the post and you move on. But what Megapope has done here is bring direct attention to the concept of Mousegirls as potential fodder for salacious material. And now I'm drawing a Mousegirl in my art program and talking about all the things I would do with a Mousegirl and fantasizing about all the funny mouse puns she would make. Thanks, Megapope. If she greeted me at the door, she'd say, "Mice to see you." Instead of listening to progressive house music, she'd listen to progressive mouse music by popular electronic mouse producer deadmau5. If there was a band of Mousegirls in the 1960s, they make a song called "Wouldn't It Be Mice?" And if you criticize them, they will be most displeased with you, and they'll turn you over to the Mouse Mafia, and the first Mousegirl will turn to her mouse goons and say, "Make him squeak with the fishes, ka-squeak." But weirdly enough, even after everything I was talking about, it wasn't really enough to, get me hot and bothered or anything. It's all been pretty tame, actually. It was mostly tame. I was more interested in talking about the Mouse Mafia than actually sexualizing the Mousegirl. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. Well, let's stop talking about Mousegirls for a moment and talk about wolves. Werewolves, to be precise. And for a moment while I was recording, I almost said mouse wolves, which might be an interesting concept for another drawing session. But for now, let's talk about Tumblr user Megapope's vendetta against furries. Here's the post in question, insofar as it has been cropped.
If you were to date a wolf man, or a werewolf or whatever, he'd get awfully large when transformed into a wolf. And one hopes that that would go along with other positive physical attributes, such as increased size of penis, or perhaps an exotic shape of penis. Some people are into that because they want to have sex with animals. If you want to have sex with a dog, but you don't want to admit to yourself or others that you do, I suppose you'd sublimate that desire into that of an anthropomorphic fantasy creature with the features of a dog. You'd also assume, of course, with that increase in physical size, that you'd have a consumerate increase in volume of...
Yeah, so I would imagine that this person doesn't like furries all that much. And I guess this is as good a time as any to bring something up. As a furry myself, I am generally attracted more to the human aspect of anthropomorphic animals than I am to the dog or wolf aspects. Allow me to bring up the Harkness test. Basically, if the creature can consent, it's okay to boink it, as long as it has human intelligence and can communicate with language, and has reached a certain level of maturity. You can do anything that the creature wants you to do with it. And generally speaking, werewolves have human intelligence, since they are in fact humans, even if they're in wolf form. So no, I don't want to boink animals. I want to boink interesting looking humans with unorthodox appearances, that go beyond the general aesthetic of humans in the real world. And I think there's something beautiful and deeply human about fantasizing about extra-human, superhuman, or quasi-human characters, who have the ability to consent. You know? And I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I know everyone in the comments will completely understand my point. At least I hope so. This video is sort of framed as if I'm bravely trying to defend my case against an army of Tumblr weirdos. But I know that you know, at least for the most part, that, well, it's okay to be romantically attracted to fictional humanoid animal characters. Or at least be interested in them, and make puns about them, and refer to them as women, even if it's not particularly relevant to the joke. And it's okay if you get flustered thinking about women, or men, or genderless ethereal void demons. But I think in general it's a good idea to not think too deeply about it. And it's also a very good idea to let people be themselves, as long as no one is being actively harmed by anyone else. And while we're on the topic of Mousegirls, let me tell you about Mrs. Brisby, okay? Let me tell you all about my girl. You can't really talk about Mousegirls without talking about Mrs. Jonathan Brisby. This brave little creature was able to talk to the great owl and sneak into a house with a dangerous cat. And at no point was she not afraid. But at no point did she not brave forward anyway. She looked at that magic amulet and she grabbed it, even though it nearly fucking burned her hands off. She grabbed it with all her might, and she saved her house. This mouse right here. Are y'all seeing this mouse? Also, let's talk about some other mouse girls I like. Stop glamorizing the grind and start glamorizing whatever this is. You know what this is? It's a mother flippin' mouse girl, back at it again. And what about this tweet from Perfume Genius? Only this mouse from now on. If you are not this mouse, that sucks, because it is only this mouse from now on. They're right and they should say it. Forget everything you're currently thinking about. It's only about this mouse now. And let's do a brief slideshow of some more mouse girls to show our appreciation, why don't we? And finally, let's talk about this mouse, the one that I'm drawing. That's a good mouse, isn't it? She's a good girl, and a good mouse. I haven't drawn her yet while I'm recording this, but it's probably a good mouse. So yeah, mouse girls are great. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. That's the moral of this video. There are plenty of other mouse girls that I didn't even mention, but rest assured they're iconic too. And mouse boys, don't forget mouse boys. I can make a whole other video about Bernard and Mickey and Fievel, but this video's been about mouse girls, so. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and remember to stay cute. Why does every mouse girl I draw end up looking like Gadget?